This was a really fun and scary game that I thought I was kind of in trouble, but I think I was actually doing pretty okay. This is round 2 of the Hershey Quads in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's game in 40, delay 5, and I'm playing Sridhardhan Siduri, young Indian teen. Very good. Was playing very fast. Put me under some time pressure, and he's 400 points lower rated than me. So it is what it is. This is a no engine recap until the very end of this video, so hopefully we learn something through this process of going over our games. I played e4. He played e4. I played d6, and so I like to do the Philidor in the perk move order, and because I don't know what I'm playing. And then he brings out his 2 knights. I play e5. He plays bishop c4, and I could play c5 here. So to stop him from playing d4, but I was like, it's game in 40. I don't want to fall for any opening traps. I'm just going to play bishop e7. And now if he plays in d4, now it's transposed into a regular Philidor. So I'm just going to play bishop e7 first, and after he castles, and now I'm going to play c5. So now I'm 1 move away from castling. So, this little detail, if he did transpose to a regular, Philidor, like, who cares? It's just a game of chess. And then so I just play c5 now. Now, black shouldn't have any issues. If black can stop white from playing d4 in the Philidor, they should. Black's doing very solid here. He plays h3, stopping me from developing my bishop. So, fair enough, I guess. And I castle. He plays d3, preparing to develop his bishop somewhere, perhaps. And, it's just a solid game from both of us. I play knight d6, continuing development. He plays knight d5. So, it seems a little bit hasty to move in your knight there, because I just chop. And then I make an inaccuracy here. I play queen c7. I don't think this is a good move. I really don't. I was like, oh man, I don't want him to double my pawns. Like, what? I think this bishop is good. It's stopping me from playing f5. I think I played king h8 later in the game. I think I just sort of started with king h8. But I was like, oh, what if he attacks, does this to my pawns? Like, is this going to be as good? Like, yes, it's perfectly fine. Like, this is not bad for me. I have the bishop pair. I'm going to play f5. I can play, a5 and bishop a6, or just bishop a6 immediately in some cases. And I can just play with the bishops, and I have the pawns, so what? Like, there was no reason for me to play queen c7. I think that's a huge inaccuracy. I think it's a bad move. The idea was, so if he takes, I can take. That was the idea, and that's stupid. I don't think that's a good idea. Additionally, I also wanted to go b5. That's the one right. So c3, I wanted to kind of play on the queen side and play like b5, a5, b4. I wanted to expand on the queen side, and the queen on c7 guarded the knight on c6, so allowing me to play b5. But after his next move c3, I was like, wait a second, like I actually don't think my b5 idea is good. I actually think that's a stupid idea. Because c3 was very good, because I was going to play like d4, and I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Like, b5 is not a good move. I don't think that's a good move. And so if I chop, I was like, okay, well, maybe after I chop, maybe I can go like, rook d8 or rook b8, and then I bishop a6 and like b4 or something like that, or maybe a5 and then bishop a6, or bishop e6 here, maybe I can play bishop e6. I don't know. Although in this case it fails tactically because chop, and that's not very good. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't think my plan was very good. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go king h8 with the idea if you go d4, then I'm going to either play f5 immediately. I forget what I was thinking. Was I gonna play f5 immediately, or was I just gonna take first and then play f5? I also don't have to play f5 as well. I could also just take, and after he takes, and bishop f6, and yeah, I mean, it's weird that my king is on h8, but other than that, it's perfectly, fine game. I mean, I have an isolated d pawn, but my bishop is good, and maybe I'll play bishop e6 next. So like queen d3, bishop e6, and yeah, I'm doing perfectly fine here. Bishop e3, it's a little bit uncomfortable actually, but it's probably fine. Like here, maybe I can take. You take. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this isn't good. I don't know. But I kind of have. I think I was gonna probably go EF or EF5, F5, probably here and just blow everything up. Like that's probably what I would have done. But yeah, definitely something to consider about. The main move I was concerned about was D4. I thought that was the most natural pawn break in the position because he set up with C3, but C3 also just restricts my knight as well from moving forward. So I think for a while I played King H8, and then now he plays Knight G5. He's saying like, hey, you weaken your F7 square, so now I'm threatening Knight takes F7, which is a check and winning a pawn. So I just go chop chop, and now I play F5. I thought it was a good move. I thought it made a lot of sense. I'm just trying to open up the position. If you take me, I'd be so happy because I can play bishop takes, and now I've connected my rooks, targeting the pawn. I'm fully developed. I'm happy. Yes, you have the bishop pair, but who cares? But he went F4, and I was like, like maybe this isn't so good for me. And I started getting worried because I wasn't sure. Honestly, just how to play this position. I really wasn't sure, and so I threw in a h6 to move his bishop back, and I was like, oh cool, wait, this is game in 40 and I have like 20 minutes left. I'm like, oh cool. I'm like, oh, I'll just chop and then go g5, whoops, and then go g5. This is just losing because of takes, sacrificing the bishop, giving a check. If I go queen h7, he takes, and now the bishop guards g8, which is really annoying, and then rook h4 is coming, pinning the queen to the king, and this is just losing. So I took on f4, which I don't think is necessarily like really bad, but I don't think it was necessary. I think bishop d7 was probably the better approach, and it allows me to connect. My rooks are now connected. So now if he takes my e pawn, I can take it back with the knight. If he plays d4, I think I'm totally fine. I just go chop chop and knight g6, attacking his bishop. If he moves back, I can chop, and then now the game goes on. He has an isolated d pawn. I have an isolated d pawn. Well, not isolated yet, but this pawn's gonna perish probably, and then I can move my knight back. I mean, he has the bishop pair, so he probably has a slight advantage, admittedly, but it is what it is. It's not that bad, all things considered. That's rook takes f4. I play knight e7, and it forces him to get rid of the bishop pair. And he goes bishop b3 or something like that. Now I go knight g6, and suddenly I'm winning material. And so he chops, and now we have the same colored bishops. He has a bit more space in the center. There's this tension here, but I'm a bit underdeveloped. If my bishop was already on c6, I'd be happy, but my bishop's on c8, and I'm unhappy. He plays queen h5, putting more pressure on the pawn. And I found this move very annoying because I would love to. I really wanted to play bishop e6 to finish development, but then he would just chop and just be a clean pawn up, and there's nothing I can do. Like, what am I doing with my life? I'm just down a pawn. So I had to be a bit more creative. I played bishop d7 with the idea that if he takes my pawn, it's a blunder because of bishop e8 attacking his queen, discovered attack on his bishop. I win the game. And I also just connect rooks. And so after he doubles up on the f-file, I play rook f6. And now it's really, yes, he's going to win this pawn, but it's actually not that easy to keep the pawn in an easy way, because if he can never take with the rook because I just take back. He loses in exchange, and if he take back with the pawn, well now this pawn is potentially a weakness, and it opens up my queen on the e-file, which happens later in the game. So after he doubles up, he plays king h1, kind of a waiting move, getting out of any checks. Queen e3 would have came with check, and I double up. So now, yes, you can take my pawn, which does in the game, but I made queen e3, which I think is still a really good move, and there's a lot of trickiness behind it. For example, if you play queen f3, I think this is just simply not a good move. Oh wait, queen f3 later, because I play queen f3, he plays bishop e4. I think that was a mistake. I think this was a mistake. Queen f3 now, I think is good. I think queen f3 now is good. If I go queen e2, trying not to trade queens, then simply queen f2 would force a trade of queens. if I go back in the position, it doesn't really help that much. I'm attacking this pawn a lot, but maybe just bishop. Honestly, maybe just take the pawn. Maybe just take the pawn, honestly. And this is not good for black. This is just not good for black. So I think he had to go queen f3 now. But instead, I'm going to get rid of this great move. I think black is just not doing good here. I take it back. Black is just not doing good here. So I think, so he played bishop before. So this is, so as you can tell, like I annotated this game without an engine, just with my human eyes for like 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. So I played bishop c6. And now this is a very tricky move. If you take my bishop, which could be the best move, well, now this d pawn is weak. And you have one less, well, I have one less attacker on the f5 square, but you have one less defender for your pawns, so it's not super easy. But this is probably what you should go for. If you play queen f3 now, well, now I can always trade. And if you take back with the rook, I can play g6. And if you play g4, I forgot. I thought I had a conclusion. Did I have a conclusion? I don't think I have a conclusion here. I think I'm still down a pawn, but it's not so bad. But it's not good. It's definitely not good. So I think after queen f3, I might be able to... Am I able to go... Yeah, I could go queen e5 potentially. Could go queen e5. Oh, but then he takes the pawn. Oh. Yeah, he probably should have gone for this. Yeah. Okay. I thought I was doing pretty good here, but he can just take my bishop and then put queen f3. So I think that's what he should have done. Yes, I think that's what he should have done. But instead of that, he played rook 1 f3, which I just list as a blunder. There are some things. Oh wait, now I remember. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think queen f3 is a bad move because I can just take and then play d5. Oh my gosh. Yes. The bishop is trapped. So yes. Now I remember why I thought it was a bad move. Oh wait, but I'm saying that he can take. Oh yeah, and then play queen f3. Yeah, he can do that. But if he doesn't take and goes queen f3 immediately, that's when it's bad. So unfortunately for me, he goes rook 1 f3, and I go check. And here he goes king h2, and here I just missed that d5 should just be absolutely winning. Yeah, I mean, I win a piece. So there's no reason why I didn't play this. I just, I was just too excited by the free pawns everywhere. And I was getting lower on time. So, yeah, I messed up. I took the pawn. He played rook g4, trying to start a queen-king side attack. All of his pieces are targeting my king. I take the pawn. He plays d4, which I already calculated because I'm going to take. And after he takes my bishop, it is a discovery attack on my queen, but I give a check. And he doubles up, attacking my g7 pawn. So if I take, he takes my g7 pawn, and it's complicated. So I take his pawn first, attacking his queen. And now he goes queen h4, which is a mistake because I go rook h5, trapping his queen out of nowhere. And now this game's just lost here. He gives up the queen. And now if he takes the pawn, I'm going to go rook f7, have a very solid position. After he goes bishop, if he goes like bishop e4, something like that, I'm going to go queen e5, and I've solidified my position. I have 2 passed pawns. I'll start rolling down the board. I can maybe even go, what do I want to go? I want maybe like rook e7, rook e6, rook g6. No, that's stupid. What am I talking about? No, maybe rook f4. I don't know what I would have done, to be honest. But it's winning. So after he sacrifices his queen, he moves his bishop back, and I just play queen e5, and he resigns. So yeah, a very scary game, and I think I was justified. I think this. Well, firstly, I think queen c7 was just a dumb move, and then I think maybe king h8 was not the right plan. One thing that I note as very interesting is bishop e6. I think bishop e6 is a very interesting move, because I can give myself doubled pawns, and I don't know if this is bad or not. Especially if my queen's on d8 still, then I can play bishop e6, and then maybe I can go queen e8, queen g6, and double up on the f file, and have a king side attack, like which I think is legitimate. But I just don't know. I'm not sure about it. I think it's interesting, but I just don't know. I don't know if that's the right plan or not. And so I screwed this up pretty quickly. I think maybe King H8 just wasn't good either. Playing F5 and he can play F4. Like I probably taking on F4 just wasn't good. I think just playing Bishop D7 and I think I'm gonna be doing okay in this game. I forgot. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't play Bishop D7. I think after Queen H4, maybe I just didn't like pawn takes, bishop takes, and he's gonna play Queen G6 next. But I'm not really sure. I mean, if this ever happened, I could always play maybe honestly Bishop E8, and if Queen G4, then I can take, and then redeploy my bishop elsewhere. I don't know. Going Queen G6 is super annoying, so I'm not sure whether what the best response is. But I do think just going Bishop D7 here is a lot better than what I did in the game. So I think this is probably my way to not have such a bad position. But yeah, that was a scary game. So with that being said, I'm going to hit the game review. I'm toast, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace. One more thing before we end, actually. I will note that I did actually see a really cool move here after Bishop. A really cool move is Queen D1, which is very disgusting. I mean, this is a very disgusting move. Rook F3 is a threat, simply put. I mean, Rook F3 will trap the queen. So Queen D1 is a very crazy move that I did see in my analysis, in my no engine analysis when I was annotating the game, but I forgot to talk about it during the video. But yeah, very crazy move. And engine confirms that queen is on the verge of being trapped. So not so good. Like Queen G6, bishop takes, Queen E2. I don't know why Queen E2 is necessary, to be honest. Why is Queen E2 necessary? I guess Queen G5 is an idea. We play like A5, King G1. Why is it so good? I say A5. Oh, Rook G4. Duh. Rook G4 is an idea. Yeah. But the queen isn't trapped, but Rook E4 happens. And if Rook takes, this endgame is just so winning for Black. So black can get out of the queen trap, but then get into an endgame where they have all their pawns split and the endgame's completely losing. Crazy stuff. Anyways, I did not see all that, but oh well.